Hi, I'm Chief Warrant Officer Teal, the RSM of 2563 Petrolia. In this video, we will be talking about shining boots and blackening FTU boots. Things you will need for this are a small brush, big brush, two separate cans, one is smaller, one is bigger, it doesn't matter. One can will be specifically for shining your parade boots, and one can will be specifically for blackening your FTU boots. You don't want to mix these cans up with the brushes because what will happen is you can ruin your parade polish, and it will look poorly on your boot and scratch your boot. You will also need one of the top of the cans will need to be filled with water. That way you can wet this rag, which is for shining and buffing your boots. The idea behind the rag is you have two sides. You have your side with the kiwi emblem, which is for buffing. It is a softer side, and you have your side without it, which is for shining, which is more of a rough side, but it's more coarse. Here is your parade boot. Some of the things you want to think about before shining and blackening is your placement where you are, because it makes a big mess, and you don't want to get anything on the furniture in your house, because I don't want to be homeless cadet and you don't want to be homeless cadet. So be sure to think about where you are when you're polishing and what it's going to be like. First thing you want to do is make sure there's no dust on your boot. So quick thing to do is just wipe it off with the rag, make sure there's no dust, and then it's nice and clear. With polishing your boots, the idea of practice makes perfect is 100% the case, because what's going to happen is you're going to polish your boots once and it's not going to be good enough, so you want to do it over and over again to get a good base coat, and then after that 10 minutes on your boots and they'll be glass. These are a pair of old style boots. Due to boots being returned, you can get two different types. These are old style, and you can get what are called moon boots, which are the new style. There's a theory or a myth saying that moon boots can't be shone. That's not true. I've seen them glass at camp. You will see them glass at camp, and I expect to see them glass at the home unit. And I know it can happen, so I know you can do it. So let's talk about shining the boot. So first thing you want to do is you want to make sure in these creases here, in between the main boot and the sole itself, that it's completely black. Mine is black, so I don't need to do this, but if it's not black, what you will do is you'll take your small brush or toothbrush, whatever you prefer, dip it into this black polish, which is for blackening boots. You will run it inside, just like so, and make sure you get everything black. Okay. If there are any scratches, you can buff out the boot. It's pretty easy. I have this black spot on my kiwi rag. The trick with that is you just fold it down, and then you want to just rub down the boot. I don't need to, there's no scratches, so it's pretty simple. Put some pressure, scrub down your boot. It's very simple. After that, we're going to get into actually polishing your boots. So you want to take the coarse side, so there shouldn't be any kiwi emblem. You want to take a blank piece, so I have all these black spots. These are from where I've shone. Take a blank spot, put it around your finger. You should kind of grab a corner here, and then you want to start spinning it so that it gets nice and tight around your hand, and you can hold on to it. You can use either two fingers in here or just one. I prefer just one, it's more direct. Next, you will dip your finger in the water, get it nice and wet. As you can see, it's kind of on the sunk in too early. It normally stays on the top, and then it'll sink in. This primes the felt and allows it to be softer. After that, you will take a small amount of polish, not too much, because it'll clump on, and you don't want that, and then you're going to dip it back in the water real quick. So from there, what you're going to do is get your boot stable and just start doing circles. So you want to cover the entire area of the boot with polish. It'll be dark at first, and you shouldn't be able to have any shine. So you want to get the entire thing, and you're going to continue to do these circles. You start off big and then go in small. You're going to continue to do these circles so that you start to get that shine out. As you can see, it's kind of starting to glow a bit, and it will continue to glow as we go in. If it doesn't look like it's glowing at all, you can dip your finger in more water, and that will kind of kickstart it. So getting smaller. Shine's starting to come out more. It's important to remember not to leave anything too long, because if you leave the solid polish on too long, it'll harden up and you can't polish it. So in that case, that's a case where you need to buff it and get it down soft again, and then continue working on getting polish on it. In the beginning, this will be a long process, but it doesn't take long in the end. As you can see, I'm starting to get that mirror finish, and it's starting to come through beautifully. The standard will be for the whole boot, as I said. Myself will be there, my SSM Master Warrant Officer Bryce will be there, your troop warrants will be there, and they'll check. If your whole boot is not done, your boots are not done. You haven't shone your boots, in my opinion. So the standard is do the whole boot, and you have to remember it's just this on the entire boot. When I got these, to give you an idea of the amount of effort that I put in them, I spent an entire weekend doing both boots non-stop to get that base coat, and now I spent 5 minutes, not even, just getting that. So it doesn't take long once you have that base coat to get a good solid shine. I don't know if you can get the camera in there, but it's pretty easy once you've done it. So that's shining boots. So you need to make sure that you do the whole boot. You do those little circles till they disappear, because they will eventually. You just got to take your time. Make sure they're not too small. Start big, get in smaller. Yeah, it's pretty much the whole concept of shining boots. Next, we will talk about blackening boots. So this is your FTU boot. It's pretty dirty. I was wearing it in the field, so I gave it a quick wash. I just poured it down with water, took a paper towel, and then just scrubbed it down a bit. If you look on the bottom there, it's nice and dirty, so that's another case of watch out where you're doing it, because I'm doing it on a table here, but I'm gonna have to wash off the table after. I also have a cardboard box here to make sure I don't get this anywhere. This is especially bad for getting polish everywhere, because you're coating it and then you're buffing it off, and little bits of polish go everywhere, and once they set in, they don't come off. So you just need to remember to, be cautious and take care of your parents' things, or your things, depending on if you live alone or not. Got it. So here we're gonna take our big brush, little brush, and smaller can. The smaller can is good because it's easy to go through, but it keeps it nice and condensed, and it doesn't break out. So you wanna just get a nice coat of polish, get it all on there. And I like to put my hand in the boot. That might be odd, you don't have to come around. I like to put my hand in the boot, which might be a bit odd, but it works. And you're just gonna put a coat of polish all on it. You can see it darkening up. You want to get everywhere. So this case would be good for taking off the laces because you want to get up onto the tongue too. Just want to go all the way around. Maybe apply a bit more polish onto the small one if necessary. You try to make sure you don't apply too much polish. A good tester is if you can run your finger along it. It's kind of dark, but I'm going to buff it off. So you can run your finger along it and you'll find out whether or not there's too much after you've buffed. So it's nice and black. We're going to pull out the big brush. Just up and down motion. You're trying to buff it out. Make sure it gets nice and black. Something that will more than likely happen is when you buff out your boot, it'll get a bit of a shine. That's okay. The idea isn't to shine your boots, but you want them blackened for sure. So they may get a bit of a gloss, but you don't need to worry about that. So this part's all black. I can run my finger along and get very minimal polish on it. Key ideas is your soles and the sides of your soles are going to be very, very dirty after an FTX. So you want to make sure you blacken those, especially that strip between the boot itself and the sole is another part that you need to be black. Everything should be black along the sides and back. It's very simple, very straightforward. If you want to wash the bottoms, you can. It's not necessary. Yeah, that's polishing your boots. If you don't have or can't get any Kiwi products, Arcor is a distributor for Kiwi. So as a recruit, you'll be given Kiwi products straight from the start, and so on and so forth if you need it after that. Just ask your troop warrant or troop sergeant, and we will get you Kiwi. To put everything away, you want to just pull it all out, whatever you need to. Without wrinkles is best, so that's why I like to fold. You want to get rid of the cap with water, and then you can just put the lid back on. Alright, you're good to go. Make sure you store it. Don't start the polish in hot places or your boots in hot places because the polish will melt. Thank you. Have a good day.